New World proudly brings you coverage of tonight's match. We love netball as much as you do.
The Silver Ferns have won 2 from 3 against Australia this season. They may not be able to finish the year ranked world #1, but can they make it a clean sweep against the world champions here on Aussie soil, who will have the final say in 2008? Welcome to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre for the final match of the New World International Netball Series. The atmosphere's building here in Queensland. The Silver Ferns took out Game 1. Can the home side hit back tonight? Good evening, glad you could join us. The Australian Diamonds will be desperate for a win on home soil here in Brisbane tonight, particularly after letting an 8-goal lead slip in Melbourne. Now, the Silver Ferns did it without captain Julie Seymour last week, and they'll have to do the same tonight. She's out with an Achilles injury still. But remember, the New Zealanders are favourites going into this match. They have the better record so far. Now, Australia hit them hard in Christchurch back in September, winning 53-51. But since then, it's been all New Zealand, with a 7-goal win in Auckland, followed by last week's 5-goal win in Melbourne.
And you take your time, and you stand in line, where you get what's yours. I got mine, because when I arrive, I'll bring the fire, make you come alive. I can take you higher, what this is. Forgot, I must now remind you, let it rock, let it rock.
Well, joining us now is former Australian captain Vicky Wilson. Thanks for joining us today. First of all, shooting stats were a bit of an issue for Australia. 2 shooters in the 60s. Can they afford to do that tonight?
Oh, absolutely not. If they do, we'll lose the game by 10 goals. And I think we have to take a leaf out of Van Dijk and Tutai's book. They just got the ball in the circle, didn't hesitate and put it up, but also like to see a lot more work rate by our goal attacks outside the goal circle.
Okay, the Silver Ferns have accused the Aussies of being a little bit too physical. Do you agree with that? Surely not.
Well, actually I do, and I thought we were very lucky to get away with it in the first quarter in particular. I thought Chatfield was climbing up the back, and Gerard was just encircling Tutai, but full credit to both Tutai and Van Dijk. They really were very persistent, and they didn't lose their cool, and they just kept mixing it up, and I think that was the difference in the end.
Okay, hard work then for the New Zealand attackers. Now, with the absence of Julie Seymour, Marie Bowden started at wing attack last week, but remember, Liana Barrett-Chase came on after the first quarter and made quite an impact. So is that enough to give her a start today? Let's have a look at the Kiwi lineup. Ruth Aiken has made 2 changes to the lineup that started against Australia last week. Those changes aren't in the shooting circle though. Irene van Dijk will begin at goal shoot, with Maria Tutaiea in at goal attack. Liana Barrett-Chase gets her first ever start for the Silver Ferns at wing attack tonight, replacing Marie Bowden. Laura Langman is once again at centre, and Jolene Henry will start the match at wing defence. Katrina Grant has only ever started for New Zealand once before, but she gets her second shot at goal defence today, pairing with Casey Williams at goalkeeper. Cheryl Scanlon will be the one to watch coming off the bench, so Coach Ruth Aiken putting faith in her youngsters tonight.
We got very tentative on attack, and we've got to find space, and we've got to be able to get Australia off our back so that we can release the ball quickly. So we'd like to see the ball speed moving a lot more quickly.
Julie, but no surprises that Ruth Aiken has decided to go with the same 7 that brought her success in the second quarter of Game 1.
Yes, she's really showing confidence in her youngsters, isn't she? 5 former under-21 players that won the World Championship in 1985 starting this match tonight. From the New Zealand camp, the messages come that they're very happy with the combination, the chemistry that these young ones have together.
Well, speaking of one of the young ones, Liana Barrett-Chase, we know a week ago she had an outstanding debut, but we always know that the second game is the hardest.
Well, that's it, you know, and I'm sure she's very aware that one game doesn't make a champion. Look, Australia would have analysed her performance to death, and what I think we'll see tonight is Prendergast getting up and over her a lot earlier. She's a short player, and I'm sure they'll put more pressure on her when she has ball in hand, so she's going to have a lot of work to do tonight.
Well, it is the first time in 2 years that the Silver Ferns have won 2 consecutive matches against Australia. Can they make it 3? We're about to find out.
Well, one player who will be a large part of that, she's been in and out of the starting lineup for the past 2 or 3 years, but this year, 2008, Jolene Henry has made the wing defence bib her own.
I'd like to think that I was tenacious and that I'd give everything a go. Some people call it a little bit mongrel, but I just think that if anything's worth doing, then it's worth doing well. I do think that we remain humble and we have a sense of humility about us. I don't think that we value arrogance. I think that there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and I think that, you know, we're very sound in knowing that we're confident in our ability without, you know, trying to undermine anyone else's ability as well. I think Jolene Henry is someone who is very laid back. You know, I'd like to think I'm a relaxed person, but when time comes, I can be very, very stubborn, and, you know, can be a bit of a fighter, but in saying that, I'd just like to think that I'm someone who's following her dreams.
62 of the 90 matches between Australia and New Zealand have been decided by 10 or less goals. So if that happens today, you do not want to leave here in Brisbane.
Probably to go out there, have a really good start and score our own centre passes, and any turnover ball that we get as a bonus, and we really need to treasure that.
As you saw on Sunday, you're not going to get a ball without someone on your back or a 3-foot mark in front of you, so we need to be smart and pretty much
There's obviously a lot of room for improvement, and I think we've been working extremely hard this week to do that, and for those shooting percentages to go up, which is what we've been working really hard for. So I think this Sunday is going to be excellent.
The last test of the year we'll be just going all out, and I think some of the girls, especially down the shooting end, will be you'll probably see a different attitude, so to speak. You know, we did lose by, we lost that 8-point margin at half time, so you know, to think that we went down and didn't keep fighting, you'll see a different change this time around.
Well, Australian coach Norma Plummer has been praising her defensive line all week. She admits that the attacking end still needs some work, so will that have any influence on her selections this evening? Let's take a look. Norma Plummer is showing faith in her attacking end tonight, starting with the same combination that began against the Ferns in Melbourne, with Kate Beveridge at goal shoot and Susan Prattley at goal attack. Lauren Nurse gets the nod at wing attack once again, with Natalie Von Berto in the middle at centre and Julie Prendergast, who was a standout last week, at wing defence. Captain Monia Gerard is back in the defensive circle again, donning the goal defence bib, but this time will pair with Laura Geitz at goalkeeper, a combination that is largely untested. Lots of defensive options with Rebecca Bully and Bianca Chatfield on the bench, so a gutsy circle defensive combination from Norma Plummer.
You know, Australia doesn't go out against New Zealand to just turn up for a game. You know, we're there to win it just like the Ferns, and I'd hope the second quarter jitters that we got moves out of the game, and we put 4 quarters together this weekend.
You can't stop this feeling. You can't run away, baby, and what's on your mind. You can't stop this feeling. There's no escape, no sleep tonight. You won't get no sleep.
Oh, Julie, a big call to have Laura Geitz come onto the court. The 20-year-old gets her first international start.
Well, look, Norma Plummer continues to do it, doesn't she? You know, to pull a different line. And look, Laura Geitz is playing in front of her home crowd here, so that's why perhaps she's been given the nod here in Brisbane. Also, Geitz get a start against England, so it's her second cap only, but not in the goal kick position. So it'll be interesting to see how she combines with Gerard. The one thing I like about it is she's very clean in her play. Chatfield involved the umpires a lot last week, and I just think that Geitz will be a lot cleaner and may not involve them as much.
Another interesting selection here is that Susan Prattley gets the nod ahead of Nat Medhurst at goal attack.
Well, she only shot 60% last week. Medhurst, the much more secure shooter, but again, the coach saying, you take that ball to the hoop, I want you to see to shoot it, and giving Prattley another chance.
Well, Norma Plummer says that her side is rebuilding. Convenient excuse perhaps, but one thing is for certain, you can never underestimate a wounded Aussie side.
Yes, well, Susan Prattley, some would say, a little lucky to be in the starting 7 this evening. And remember, with Sherelle McMahon and Catherine Cox fast on the men, she needs to make tonight's performance count.
I guess like with all Australian teams, it's our fast movement of the ball. We like short, sharp movements. We have a lot of younger girls, so a bit of youth and inexperience there, but I think that's a great thing. It's a bit more energetic and everyone's excited to be out there on court. A calm player. I don't like to get too caught up in what's going on, just to do my job and get on with it, really. I don't really think about the pressure too much. I think it's just what I've always had to do, so I think it's just part of my job. Shooters have to get the shots in, so I do a lot more training for that sort of stuff, but don't try to think about the pressure too much. The goal for the series, I guess, is to build combination in the Australian team. As I said, young team, so combinations is a big thing for us, and we're out there to win, so that's our main goal, really.
Well, Vicky Wilson, coach of the Queensland Firebirds, Laura Geitz getting her first ever start tonight. You'd be pleased to see that.
Oh, absolutely thrilled. But it's going to be extremely tough, and what a baptism of fire up against Irene Van Dyke, just in sensational form. But I think the game that she had against Van Dyke when the Firebirds played against the Magic, Laura stood and delivered, so I think Plummer will be looking for that from her.
You would know her better than most people. Is she ready to be in that starting 7 tonight?
Well, I think so. She's a player of enormous talent. I think the first couple of minutes, like anyone else, she'll just be a little bit nervous. Then she'll get settled. And if she can get Van Dyke on the move, that's Laura's bread and butter. She loves to play the game out in front. She loves to have a go at the ball outside, and I think that's what we need in the back line.
Well, that will certainly be a very interesting lineup. Laura Geitz versus Irene Van Dyke. The players are out on the court. I will now hand you over to our commentators, Jenny Maycoffin and Julie Coney.
Yes, thanks, Tony. There's been plenty of verbal shots fired this week by both sides. Monia Gerard called the Ferns cocky, and the usually reserved Ruth Aitken called for the umpires to tidy up the cheap shots, in particular on Irene Van Dyke. So plenty of verbal barbs off the court. You can bet your bottom dollar the elbows and hips will be flying on court this afternoon. There's certainly no love lost between these two sides. She is, Monia Gerard. Asked to ease off on Irene Van Dyke in this test. Let's see if that happens.
Make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand. for the singing of the Australian National Anthem and welcome Caroline Archibald to sing Advance Australia Fair.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The ball driver for tonight's match is Jade Elliott. Jade is 11 years old of the Starlight Foundation, and her favourite Australian diamonds are Kath Cox and
Well, it's been a good weekend for sports fans, Kiwi sports fans that is. The All Blacks victorious over Australia and Hong Kong 19-14. And the Kiwis also thumping Papua New Guinea on the Gold Coast at the Rugby League World Cup 48-6. So can the Silver Ferns add to the success for the New Zealand sides?
Oh, the Gold Coast has always been in favour of the New Zealanders when these two teams have met. The last two times they've met here, New Zealand has won both.
So, as I said, no love lost between these two sides. So sit back and get ready for another bumpy ride, folks. This is international netball at its best. The last time these two teams will meet this year. And Silver Ferns. Laura Geitz gets herself off to a fantastic start, already into her work.
Yes, she's not afraid to go for the ball in flight, Laura Geitz. We heard Vicky Wilson say that.
Van Dijk out to Langman, who finds Tutaia with the long shot. And she's on song tonight.
Yeah, it was good timing on the jump from Gerard as well. Two males officiating tonight, Chris Campbell and Dalton Hines. Chris Campbell on the near side and Dalton Hines on the far side of the court.
Von Berto struggling to find someone. Beveridge has to come all the way up. Pratley. Long cross court. Easy as you like though from Von Berto.
Yes, Beveridge had good space. The defence a wee bit loose.
So this is the 91st time these two teams have met. Australia leading the battle, 53 wins. Tutaia always going to go to Van Dijk when it's one-on-one like that.
Yes, and I think what New Zealand are going to look at on attack tonight is just a little more control with the ball in the attack end. Not so much movement, but more movement off the ball and then create the movement into space.
Oh, great work there from Henry. Lauren Nurse turned her back on Prendergast. Pratley with the ball.
Two defence back on Beveridge, close her down, good work.
That was fantastic work from the defence. 3 seconds held ball. So let's see what the Silver Ferns can do with this. Good drive from Barrett Chase, but struggles to find anyone. Tutaia opting to go way back into the shooting circle. Coming out. There's that height of Prendergast just coming over Barrett Chase.
Yeah, that's just the one thing about Barrett Chase's game. You know, it's just that the height difference she gives away, so she really has to do a lot of work to get the defence off her back.
And what was that?
I don't know.
What was that? Van Dijk had that ball in her hands. Monia Gerard just playing to the umpire.
obstructing goalkeeper.
Good work from
Second
Williams,
attempt.
getting in the head of Pratley early on.
Yes.
Well, she did that in the first test, didn't she? In that second quarter, Pratley shot 1 from 4, and she was benched after that. Just have a look at the replay here to see if we can see. Oh, yes.
Might have come off her knee.
Yes.
I might have to take that one back.
Yes, you may do, Jenny May.
Good work from Tutaia, rolling the top of the circle. So a better start from the Silver Ferns, unlike the first test.
Ferns contact goal attack.
Australia having to go way back. Good driving from Prendergast.
You would expect a better start in the second test. You know, that first test, they'd come off the back of England. They weren't used to Australia's speed. You know, that first test, blew them away in that first quarter, didn't it? It took them a while to adjust, but they did adjust. And what impressed me the most is that they didn't panic under pressure.
Which we've seen before.
Yeah, and they pulled that game back.
Langman. Going for the step. She did well just to stay standing. So Geitz has had a good first 5 minutes so far, got herself into the game.
Yes, and just that Australian defence, they're going to be up over every pass of New Zealand's on attack, especially with the height advantage they have over our attack.
Beveridge. Overcooks that one.
That's great work from Langman there, just about had it.
Yes.
Here we go, 2 Silver Fern defenders back on Beveridge.
Ferns obstructing.
Yes, they like to play that sort of semi-zone dropping defence, don't they? And then they'll look for any high ball because both Grant and Williams will go for a ball in flight.
Yeah, Grant unlucky not to come up with the intercept there.
Just over.
Beveridge
Yes,
is having a good game, taking a couple of long shots, and she's nailed all 3 she's taken. Bit of hip action from Pratley. Sees Williams sprawling on the ground. So Australia starting to settle into their work.
Yes, and New Zealand having to push that ball back off the centre pass off. Happened a lot in the first test in the first quarter. The ball was going back to the defence on the centre pass offs more times than not. But that was because I felt Bowden was struggling to get off the line, so we'll keep an eye on that, see if Barrett Chase is getting off.
Wow, nearly missed from Van Dyke. And it's always the ones underneath the post. Van Dyke thought she was called for the contact, but in fact it was Tutaia who was out of court. So Gerard with the ball, looking. Using long for Pratley.
Yeah, using the whole court, aren't they? Swinging wide, and again it swings back the other side. So really utilising the space on court, which you have to do when you've got a zone set against you.
You see Beveridge coming way out of the circle, coming right up to the top of the transverse. Nice little fake from Pratley. Williams doesn't like it.
Yes, the call was obstruction. I think it was just that the hands getting a wee bit wide and high.
Oh,
too casual.
She was way out of court for a start. Umpire missed that. And the bunnies are starting to fly early in this first quarter.
Prendergast diving at that.
Perhaps a bit of payback though. How lovely was that?
Beautiful.
From Geitz.
Just so clean, and that's what we said before the show. Jenny May, just how clean she can be.
It is all on here in Brisbane. I'm going back and forth. Williams wants a piece of the action as well. This is exactly what we expected from both these sides in this final match of the year. Beveridge way off balance, lucky that Prendergast mops it up for her.
Good feeding position for Bomberto, right on the edge of the circle. Pratley getting the screen set from Beveridge.
Let's take a look at the replay here. There you go, Prendergast taking the ball. Oh, hard lucky for her.
Yes, a pretty unlucky call.
But it was out of court earlier, so, you know.
tit for tat.
That's
no,
right.
I thought she came clean in that first phase, didn't she? And it was really the second phase she got pulled on.
So Barrett chaser, Gerard all over the back of Tutaia.
And one-on-one, that little pass will go over to Van Dyke. That was the one from Geitz, and just showing how clean. In fact, they look very similar, don't they? Geitz and Prendergast.
Well, Williams is down here. That was a big pass that went from Gerard into the... It found Beveridge, but in the process, Casey Williams has picked up an injury. Not a happy camper. Let's just take a look and see if we can find it. Still not 100% sure what that was. Obviously an ankle.
Now, one corner now to take place on the long side. You think some fantastic work about to happen. Well, we need to keep about 7-4 to the Diamonds. They must win.
Have another look at it. The big pass from Gerard to Beveridge. Williams goes up. No.
But it was a lovely clearing pass, wasn't it? Really good looking up, down court, before the defence had time to set. Just turned, sighted Beveridge in the back and let it go.
Now, if Williams was to go off here, Julie, this would be an absolute disaster, wouldn't it?
Well, what are your options? You've got Scanlon would probably come on and Grant would go back into goal keep.
Casey Williams back on her feet.
Because, of course, there's no Liana de Brain in this side.
And it's Williams' height as well, back there on Beveridge, which would be lost. But she's okay, folks. Staying on the court, Grant. 3-foot mark by Australia, making it difficult for the Ferns to penetrate on attack. And Gerard comes up with a beautiful intercept, but I must say, lazy pass from Tutaia.
Yes, they're getting good ball defensively, aren't they, this trio? Gerard, Prendergast and Geitz really putting the pressure on, cutting angles beautifully. That was late from... I thought then from Berto would have been called, but it was an offside call.
Langman putting her body on the line.
I thought she was pretty unlucky. I thought she was knocked over.
Oh, unlucky there for the Silver Ferns as well. Jolene Henry had that, but fumbled it. Australia end up with this. Could stretch it out to a 5-goal lead.
Yes, it might have been a bit early, Jenny May, to state that New Zealand were having a good start.
But again, we know that they can come back.
Contact, win defence. Henry just dropping the shoulder slightly off that centre pass, involving the umpire. Great lean from Williams, but equally good shot.
It was a beautiful shot from Beveridge out wide.
She hasn't missed yet, Beveridge, 4 from 4. Neither is Pratt, so that's what Norma Plummer was wanting from them. That was the area that Australia were a lot weaker in. They had more attempts at goal in the first test, but only shot at 72%, New Zealand 88.
Well, anything you can do, I can do better, says Tutaia.
She's on 100% as well, but New Zealand just not getting the ball in goal.
And Monia Gerard's called for the contact, so the Silver Ferns regain possession. Nice pass from Langman, but nice move too from Tutaia.
Yeah, and we see New Zealand, just not getting those attempts at goal. That's what's just holding them back slightly, but they have the pass off.
So that was fortunate for the Silver Ferns with just over 4 minutes to play. They've narrowed that gap by 4.
You see 67% for Van Dyke, but it's really 2 from 3, so it's not bad, is it? It's only 1 miss.
Prendergast. I'm not sure what she was doing then. She wasn't going to let go of the ball, that's for sure.
That's a lovely delivery between those two shooters. Tutaia and Van Dyke have a really good understanding, and they create some good little pockets for each other in there.
And the other thing Tutaia does is takes the pressure off Van Dyke to put all the shots up. Good work from the Silver Ferns.
And a nice tidy rebound. This is important that they score from this, New Zealand.
So Prendergast so far is doing a great job on Liana Barrett-Chase at wing attack. And that was a nicely timed pass from Langman. And good moving into the ball from Van Dijk as well. So Barrett Chase just getting a little lost.
Yes, well, they'll be putting a lot of pressure on her in this match. They would have, seen that only her second test, and they've been able to analyse her play, see what she does, and they'll be onto it because they know that that's perhaps the weak link, that area of inexperience on the attack.
Means Langman has to pick up the slack though.
Yep.
And Van Dijk brings it back to 1.
As you said, Jenny May, it's hard to back up a really good performance, especially when the opposition are going to look at trying to nail you too.
Well, Norma Plummer mentioned Barrett Chase by name, so she's got her number.
That was a beautiful delivery. Hand to hand from Beveridge to Pratley, straight through between the two defenders. Just proving a little difficult in this area for the Silver Ferns.
Yep, again.
Just breaking that ball through the circle edge to get it in.
See what Patience looking for the wide, finds it and then rolls the top of the circle to Taia and nails it.
Quick shot, no time for defence to set.
So a tight first quarter between these two sides, and in fact the bookies couldn't even separate them, Julie. $1.87 each.
So you wouldn't have bothered putting any money on that one then, Jenny May. Good lean from Grant. So all you can do in that position, just put pressure on that shot and hope that it gets in the head of the shooter.
Monberto gets called for the contact on Barrett Chase. Langman, I think she might have been offside then, but it's probably courtesy of a elbow in the back from Prendergast.
Again, just that nice understanding, like one-on-one like that. It's pretty simple stuff. Oh, that had actually been played, and she stepped. Yeah. The umpire, I mean, Guyton gave it back. The penalty had gone when she took the shots. Guyton had the ball and actually handed it back to her. Had the gift, then she stepped. So
yeah, it was a little confusing.
No understanding with the umpire. Yeah, but you should be on to that.
Good work from Katrina Grant then, just boxing out on defence. And Australia not giving an inch. Henry finds Langman.
Yeah, up and over the defence's head. Good delivery from Langman. Australia defence had their back to the ball.
And Van Dijk took an elbow to the head.
Well, it was pretty tight in there.
Yeah.
Great defence, New Zealand. Excellent work.
Lauren Nurse stranded with the ball. Williams gives it up. I'm not really sure what's happened there, but they won't score from this. So Australia with the edge in the first quarter. They lead New Zealand 12 goals to 11.
Australia ahead by 1 here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. 12 goals to 11. Newbie goalkeeper Laura Geitz really getting stuck into Irene Van Dijk. There has been one change after the first quarter, and it's to the New Zealand team. Cheryl Scanlon is coming on at goal defence for Katrina Grant.
Well, it's not surprising really, is it, Julie, to see Cheryl Scanlon come onto the court. The Silver Ferns have been struggling on attack, and she certainly brings that element to the side.
Yeah, she does drive the ball through court well, and also perhaps slightly quicker in movement, and with Pratley, who is a very quick mover, you know, that lower to the ground style player might work better for New Zealand, and just a bit more experience in there with Casey Williams against a very experienced Pratley.
Well, this is Cheryl Scanlon's 60th test for the Silver Ferns, so it's good to see her getting the opportunity
Yes,
tonight.
She has 6 for Samoa as well.
So one of the veterans of the side. Tutaia.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Chris Campbell
Very good. Down.
onto it quickly. Tutaia goes for the long shot.
Well, she hasn't missed one yet, and they've all been from distance. I can tell you that there has been not one that's closer than 2 metres to the goal.
So nice set play from Australia. Beveridge out the top. And
Early pressure.
yeah, good tip from Tutaia. Turn the ball over, but
And that's what New Zealand need to do. They've really got to work hard their attacks on defence. They've got to slow that ball down coming through court.
wow. Cheryl Scanlon. This is my 60th test, girlfriend. It's mine. Dalton Hines, the Jamaican umpire, had no idea what was going on. Cheryl Scanlon was telling him what was going on.
That's no goal. Oh, too late, Bonnie and Gerard. Way too late.
It looked good, though.
It was too late. She's had 6 contacts so far, Monia Gerard.
Oh, good work from Van Dyke. Took that ball, had a bit of a push in the back, off balance, up she went.
Australia being penalised slightly more than that of New Zealand, and that's just their abrasive defence. And I can tell you, as we just said, 6 of those from Monia Gerard, 5 from Laura Geitz, 4 from Prendergast. So it's their defence that are, and their contacts.
Well, it's not worrying Tutaia so much at the moment.
So they're not obstructions, it's not over the ball, it's actual physical contact on the player. That's what they say they like to do, the Australians, don't they? Rough them up a little, tell them who or let them know who the boss is. That's what Ruth Aiken wasn't happy about.
Well, it's been an impressive 2 minutes of the second quarter by the Silver Ferns and Jolene Henry. Thanks very much. Big pass to Van Dyke.
Yeah, again, Geitz had her back to the ball.
Nice work from Tutaia.
Yep, pocket opens up for Van Dyke. So good balance in the circle between the 2 shooters. Tutaia forward, took the defence, left a nice little hole in the back.
So there's that ball, went out of court from Von Berto. And the Silver Ferns have turned the ball over here. So Australia have a chance.
With a good run, as you can see on screen, from New Zealand in the opening stages of this second quarter.
Von Berto struggling to find any of her shooters. Good defence from Scanlon and Williams. Beveridge nails that shot. She needed to. Pratley. Now to Nurse. Goes back to Von Berto. Nice pass.
Yeah, it was. And Beveridge doing a power of work on attack. She was involved in a lot of play there. She did really well for a tall player to be quite quick and agile as she was.
So the Silver Ferns impressive in the first few minutes, but Australia coming back into this game with Tutaia. Took her eye off the ball, straight through the hands. Geitz. And Geitz nearly coughs it up.
Van Dyke doing her job as she has to defensively.
Contact, goal shooter.
Not quite that defensively though.
Prendergast. Finds Gerard. Big pass to Beveridge, who does well not to go offside. And a nice little dodge.
Yeah, I'll tell you, she's doing a lot of really good work, Beveridge. She's moving beautifully and just, you know, just the speed. You have a look at it here. She came through court, and what impresses me about it is her strength of body onto the ball. She never used to have that. She's really improved in that area. She used to be a wee bit soft.
Commentator's curse.
Yes.
Great clearing pass from Henry to find Scanlon. Both shooters outside.
Bonus contact.
Langman with a passing cut. Finds Barrett Chase. Tutaia.
Contact, goal defence.
Yep. Gerard all over the back of Tutaia. And again,
that little offload, one-on-one, works most times.
Yeah, not a heck of a lot that Geitz can do, perhaps, you know, apart from moving her feet a little bit more.
Well, you just got to stand off a little bit. You can't be too close, so you've just got to, you know, keep the feet moving and try and get up in the air or get around. So important you aren't stuck on the player.
Oh!
Yep, she's been pinned for it.
Yeah.
Van Dijk, unnecessary.
Yeah, I guess she's had enough, though. She's had enough.
Yeah, she's saying, you know, she's saying this player's too close to me, umpire. But,
get off.
Yeah, but you can do it a wee bit more subtly than that, I think.
Well, she's got big arms, Julie. Don't think there's too much subtlety she can have when it comes to that type of thing. Never mind, Australia still with the ball. Bit of confusion, though. Pratley out the top of the circle. Some good hustle on the outside from Henry. Williams, though, gives up an easy shot for Beveridge, calls for the contact. Scanlon does her best to put her on. No can do.
Yeah, pretty hard to get up to that because she shoots from so high. And there it is, yeah, just that ball to the head.
Yeah, it was just a little one there.
Yes,
Julie.
yes. Just, as I say, just a little obvious, Irene.
Pratley with the long shot.
Oh, pretty unlucky there.
And this is the difficulty with an umpire, which you're not used to having at this level. Dalton Hines it is from Jamaica.
So New Zealand started this quarter well, but Australia have pulled it back. 5 apiece now. Oh, it was on in, but again, it's just that height of Barrett Chase. Just couldn't quite see Van Dijk in the back.
Beautiful shot from Tutai out wide. So it's all even here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Henry.
Now, the shooters really getting the benefit of the doubt at this end, aren't they? The defence are getting pulled out of the game. They must adapt. They must change their game. They go revolve Dalton Hines every time if they don't.
Nice cutback from Barrett Chase. Again, can't side her shooters. Monia Gerard, tenacious.
Great work. Defence baffled.
Yeah, that was good. Monia Gerard went all the way with Tutai, but Geitz wanted to have a go at us as well.
Henry just knocked the player as she was coming through, so the ball will go back. Gerard with the penalty. Henry stands down.
So Nurse with the ball, finds Pratley.
And again, good timing on attack from Australia. Just waited then till the defensive player overran and Pratley offered back.
Great rebound from Williams. She was looking for the contact.
Those shooters are getting really rough, aren't they? Both ends of the court.
That's what we've come to expect at this level, isn't it, Julie, between these two? And you play to the umpires.
Nice position, nice position. Oh, it was on in the back.
Oh, short pass.
Yeah, eyes were only for Tutai and Van Dijk had a lovely holding space in the back, so...
Well, it was a beautiful drive from Gerard, but she overcooked that one big time. Let's have a look at this. So Williams... Yeah, I don't think she actually got pushed then.
No, she just... her feet almost looked too close together on landing, didn't they?
Great clearing pass from Scanlon, but the one from Henry's eaten up by Geitz.
I really like watching Geitz play. She's such a clean player in the air.
And for all young netballers who play goalkeep, that's what happens when you stay alive the entire time and don't wait for the ball to get to your third. She had her eye on the ball the entire time.
And what she was doing was playing the side of the ball as well. So was there for the intercept.
Pratley. She looks relaxed this time round, Pratley.
Yep, she played the side the ball was coming down the court.
Pass probably could have gone straight to Tutaia, who was coming around the top of the circle.
Yes, I just think on attack, eyes need to be up a wee bit more. I think we're just seeing one player instead of seeing 2 or 3 options in front.
Well, Maria Tutaia continues her impressive run, 9 from 9.
Only player not to have missed a shot.
So Prendergast gives it to Nurse, finds Von Berto. Nice screen set up by the shooters. And as a consequence, Williams trying to get around both of them and called for the contact. Beveridge with that trademark high shot.
But just have a look at that penalty count here and just look how it's evened up. New Zealand just 29 and Australia 32. That's just that change of umpiring at this end of the court. It was 21 to 13, 21 Australia, 13 New Zealand at the end of the first quarter. So you can just see that umpire involvement creeping in.
Yeah, Barrett Chase just got buried a little bit there, and Tutaia was looking for the offload, and it was too big for Barrett Chase. Good work from Prendergast then to stay onside and in control. Bradley teetering on the sideline.
Yeah, you could see a beautifully set zone in the middle of the court.
Williams will be feeling pretty good about that. She hasn't taken one like that during this match, and we're used to seeing it.
Yeah, well, they'd done the work out in front of her. They'd set that nice little dropping zone.
Oh, Von Berto, perhaps unlucky in that one. Not really sure what Chris Campbell called it there.
No, because she didn't stand down. Yes.
Oh, how pretty was that? She's bullet pass from Barrett Chase.
Yeah, she's got a beautiful set of hands. Look, there's the intercept from Williams. And then it was down. And a lovely delivery into the shooters from Barrett Chase. She's just got lovely soft hands, Barrett Chase, hasn't she? And delivers nicely.
And should be feeling pretty good about that after having a quiet first quarter.
That is so unfair. Yes.
Again, made up for it.
Swinging ball across the circle. Defence love it.
Scanlon doing what Barrett Chase couldn't. Taking the intercept. Nice work from Tutaia. Again, Australia defence just happy to let her cut the top of the circle and take the long shot. She's happy to do it.
Contact centre.
Yes, she's come. She needed to take her feet with her, though.
That was good work from Von Berto, who got the tip.
Contact.
Yes, but that pass was on to Van Dijk, but she kept the feet buried, and it allowed Geitz to come and get a tip on the ball. And Geitz is very good at that. She's got a lovely long reach and does it without involving the umpire.
So Pratley evens the match up with just only 2 minutes to play. There she is, the star of the moment, Laura Geitz. Australia, again, good defence here from the Ferns. Holding the ball up, Williams hunting.
Yes, that's what they need to do, to slow that ball down and give them the opportunity for the intercept ball.
So,
nice shot.
Pratley with a long shot to put Australia ahead by 1. She couldn't hit the back of a bus in the first test. She's not going to make that same mistake this time round.
Contact. Goalkeeper, shot the pass.
Geitz continues to bug the Ferns shooters.
Pushed out of the hands by Gerard. Van Dijk makes sure.
Monia like a schoolyard bully. She's tenacious. Pratley stuck with the ball, no one to pass to. Prendergast helps her out.
Oh, Williams was there, wasn't she? Just couldn't grasp the ball.
Oh, it was clever work from Prendergast too with the fake.
Nice. Oh, that was a nice move though. Right idea, but Langman perhaps not quite ready for it.
So can the Silver Ferns hold the Australians up here with 8 seconds to go and stop it? A goal, and they sure can. Scanlon getting away with that. Henry picking it up, but
It's time.
well, at halftime here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, Australia still lead the Silver Ferns, albeit by 1 goal, 23 to 22.
Welcome back to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, where Australia lead the Silver Ferns 23 to 22 at halftime. Now, the big emergence from the first half is goalkeeper Laura Geitz giving Irene van Dijk a wee bit of a hard time. Bianca Chatfield started in the first test, but Geitz has come on her first start ever and it's making a real impact. Let's have a look at the stats on paper.
Yes, it certainly is, Tony. Geitz has actually come up with 3 intercepts so far in this match in the first half, so she's been very, very impressive. We take a look at the shooting stats there, and the Silver Ferns have a greater success rate at 96 to Australia's 85. The penalties are fairly even, and so too are the turnovers. But at this stage, Australia are making the most of those turnovers, scoring 10 out of 16. The Silver Ferns just 8 from 16. So let's take a closer look now at the Silver Ferns captain, Laura Langman. She's had a solid game so far. She hasn't picked up any intercepts, but has certainly assisted in the defensive end, who have taken 4 collectively. Now, Langman, she's tenacious and determined on attack, and she's had to do a heck of a lot of work in the first 2 quarters. And then we're down the other end, we've got Beveridge and Pratley, who have got a wonderful understanding. It's certainly improved from the first test. Beveridge shooting at 83%, Pratley at 87, and the goals that they've taken between each other have been fairly even, with Beveridge putting up 10 from 12 and Pratley putting up 13 from 15.
Well, Julie Coney, have Australia finally found someone that can match it with Irene van Dijk, Laura Geitz?
She's had a great start to the match, hasn't she? The thing I really like about Laura Geitz is that she stands off Irene a little bit more than Chatfield does, so she doesn't involve the umpire, and she's got brilliant timing. She's very clean with her movement, and she's caused Irene all sorts of problems in the first half of the match.
I guess it's not just Irene van Dijk either. Their whole attacking end doesn't look quite right. Do you expect there to be any changes?
Well, I think we may see a change in the mid-court. I think Barrett Chase hasn't had as good a start as she did in the first test, but that's understandable. We said that at the beginning of the match. They were going to get her because she's a shorter player. So we may see an injection of Marie Bowden in the second half of the match just to change up that attack end.
Okay, well, I don't know whether it's just me sitting at ground level or not, but it looks particularly physical, a little bit niggly. The players themselves are sort of pulling the ball into the players. Umpiring, what do you make of that?
Not great, to be honest. It's different at either end again. We saw the contact or the penalty count swing in the 2 quarters of the match because of the difference of the umpires. I think Dalton Hines struggling a little bit. You know, Chris Campbell did the first test, a wee bit more accustomed to it. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in the second half of the match.
Okay, looking just at the Australian shooters for a second, Susan Pratley and Kate Beveridge. Are you pleased with the way that they're playing for Australia? I mean, Susan Pratley, her stats are higher, but
I think they'll be a lot happier with their performance. They're shooting a lot better. New Zealand's still better in the shooting stats at the end of the half, but Australia again have put up more shots than that of New Zealand. They've put up 4 more attempts, so they're getting the ball into their shooters. And again, I'm sure Norma Plummer will be wanting, just to get that percentage held up at that 80s to 90s level in the second half of the match.
Okay, well, the second half looks to be a stunner. 1 goal in it here in Brisbane. Australia lead New Zealand. Don't go away.
Back for more action after the break.
we do. I guess that's why they're the new elite sponsor of the Silver Ferns.
Welcome back to Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The players are just coming back out onto court. No changes have been made at all in the Silver Ferns lineup. Australia looking pretty much the same as well. The score is 23-22. Australia lead the Silver Ferns.
Well, an interesting call by Ruth Aitken, perhaps. We may have seen Wendy Telfer even come into the lineup at wing attack. Barrett Chase having a good game, but teammates just finding her a little hard to find at the moment on attack.
Yes, the Australian defence has been pretty abrasive, and Prendergast's height, good advantage.
So, let's get this third quarter underway.
What Barrett Chase really needs to do is just more work off the ball and keep driving hard and forward onto it, making herself available.
And also I think her teammates need to actually give her the ball, bring her into the game a little bit more.
Yes, once you've moved into position, you want the ball, don't you? But she must be in clear air. She needs that defence off her.
Scanlon called for the contact, which allows Pratley to nail the shot. Prendergast with those arms over Barrett Chase.
Again, it's that whole thing, isn't it? It's that presence around her, that height and the long reach from Prendergast.
Tutaia continues her impressive run at goal attack, 11 from 11 so far. Von Berto with the ball, struggling, can't find someone. She has to go back to Prendergast and get the ball back again. Takes 3 in a row.
Yes, having to do a lot of work to try and cut in front of that sagging defence. It's what they needed to do.
Well, it might be a little frustrating at home seeing so much
that would have been
whistle.
close to held.
That is a lovely shot from Beveridge. But we can expect Sherelle McMahon injured out of the Test series after having her knee operated on.
Yes, and that's why you'd really like to see New Zealand win this Test tonight, when Australia are perhaps limping a little on attack with no Cox and no McMahon. And that's certainly what they'll be saying.
Nice dish off from Tutaia to find Van Dijk. And I was just saying earlier, you might find it a little frustrating with the amount of whistle that's involved, but both these teams are not giving an inch, and they are going for everything. Sometimes that involves the body. So ultimately the umpire's whistle is going to have to come into play, and again. Wow, what a shot. Pratley. So we look at this shot again.
It's such a high shot.
Or not. Here she goes, Prendergast. The former Victoria 800-metre and 400-metre runner, quickest in the Australian side.
Very, very quick off the mark.
That honour usually goes to a mid-quarter, like a wing attack or a centre. Prendergast wraps up the honours there. Again, a lot of whistle. Ferns really trying to get physical on this Australian attacking line.
Marched that forward, and I'm pretty sure that was Henry at the top of the circle, just pushing her hip in.
That was an air ball from Pratley.
Nice delivery from Henry. Good tidy little bounce pass.
And a great little roll on the baseline from Van Dijk. Nice delivery too from Tutaia.
Just another typical New Zealand-Australia clash, isn't it? It's so close. Edge of the seat stuff.
Williams called for the contact, riding Pratley.
No team making a real break. And if they have, they've been hauled back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Barrett Chase. I was just going to say, give it to her. She'd had the run, had the drive, and there was almost hesitation in that pass from Tutaia.
And that's what you don't want to happen, because you want Liana Barrett Chase to be in this game. And the way that's going to happen is if her teammates around her have the confidence just to let it go. And just understand that Prendergast is going to get little tips.
Guides that time. Well, what a debut at goalkeep she's had.
But again, the unknown quality. Silver Ferns probably not expecting her to take the court, and Jolene Henry gets her own back down the other end.
Oh, just in too much rush. Just have a bit of finesse and take your time. And again, she's only got eyes for Langman, not looking at other options there as the ball came through.
Tutaia with the long shot.
Shivers. She has not missed a shot. 12 from 12, 100%.
Beveridge again way out. Von Berto. Pratley has to come out the top. A nice little pass between the two shooters. Got a good understanding between them. Oh, good work from Williams. Gets a hand to the ball. Just upsetting the flow of the Australian attack side. Floating ball to Von Berto.
Advantage offside centre.
Oh! Wow, it could have gone either way, that one. The Australian crowd like it. Not so sure about it, though. Let's have another look at it. Pratley around the top. Scanlon takes her path. And the Silver Ferns have coughed it up at the other end. So Australia with a chance, ball in hand, to go 3 up.
Both these teams not scoring off their turnover ball.
And there's Prendergast again coming through, taking her feet all the way to the ball.
Proper pass. Inside. Yes.
Long shot from Beveridge, high in the air, but not on target that time, and a good position on the rebound from Williams.
Bonus contact.
So Australia slowing the ball up for the Silver Ferns. Barrett Chase.
That's deliberate. There's no way that Pratley could have got that. And, you know, they should be warned for that or marched. I'm sorry, you know, if you can do it skillfully, then that's fine, but there was just no skill at all.
You play to the umpire, though, Jules, particularly at this level, though,
yeah,
you know?
Well, I guess so, but that's where the umpires need to get into the real world.
I agree, but it frustrates the opposition and it frustrates them into mistakes, and that's exactly what Australia are trying to do to the Silver Ferns. They just need to keep their heads, stay cool under pressure, soak it up.
Contact, ball defense. Yes.
Great work from Scanlon.
Wing area.
So look at the turnovers. We spoke about this just before, Jenny, mate. Both teams have turned the ball over quite a lot, but they're just not scoring when they turn it over. Only 50% of that valuable ball.
That was a brain explosion from Von Berto. Threw the ball through a third. I don't think I've seen that at this level. Langman has to come forward. Ferns struggling to find Barrett Chase, who now has the ball in hand. Good work from Langman, and a nice little dodge there from Tutaia.
Look at this. Look where she shot from, folks. Well out. This has been one of her closest shots of all. And doesn't miss that one either.
She has certainly been impressive tonight, Tutaia, the 21-year-old. Lives in Auckland, plays for the Waikato Bay Plenty Magic.
Barrett Chase using all the footwork in the book to get around the defence. But again, Van Dijk, feet nailed to the floor.
This is a lolly scramble.
Yep.
Whose
Nor does the umpire, clearly.
Just put your hands on the ball and look like it's yours. You'll probably get away with it.
But the thing is, none of that needed to happen. If Irene van Dijk had taken her feet with her when the ball came, she would have cleared away from the defence.
Well, we knew this was going to be a physical encounter, but it's probably a bit more push and shove than was expected. The reason that's happening is the umpires are allowing it to happen. But it is great viewing, isn't it? Let's have a look at a two-tayer. Came off Geitz. Geitz back in there again. So too was Van Dijk. Bombuto straddling. Nice little pop there from Pratley.
Yeah, good split in the circle, balanced it nicely.
And she stays cool under the basket to take Australia out to a 2-goal lead with just under 5 minutes. And a big pass from Henry.
It was on. Irene van Dijk seagulling back behind Geitz. Lovely big space and good delivery from Henry.
And it was good too to get some momentum and not have 10 passes before it gets in there. Settling the side a little, but Australia go down the other end.
Pratley does well to get the rebound. They haven't rebounded many, Australia.
So Australia maintained a 2-goal gap. Let's have a look at this. Nice little tip back from Pratley to regain the ball.
Yeah, it's only the second rebound they've had on attack, Australia, and in fact haven't taken any defensive rebounds. So those missed goals from New Zealand have been taken by New Zealand.
Well, it's a yo-yo game at the moment. The Silver Ferns coughed it up. Beveridge has stepped down the other end, so the Silver Ferns have the ball back. It's better work between the two feeders on the outside, but Gerard almost took the ball out of Tutayer's hand.
They just keep coming on defence, don't they? And if your feet are planted, because that time Tutayer was guilty of what Van Dijk did the time before, they just stood and you can't expect to stand and wait for the ball when you've got an umpire like Dalton Hines on the other side of the court. He's not going to call the defence, and the defence will get the tap and get the ball away.
So you'd have to say that they are playing the umpires better than the Silver Ferns in this third quarter.
Yep.
And as a consequence, they're ahead by 3 goals. So the Silver Ferns perhaps need to play a little smarter. Nurse with the ball. Von Berto unmarked. Pratley on the baseline.
Yeah, she had a good wee clean drive through the base.
Pratley puts Australia ahead by 4. Silver Ferns need to peg this back in the last few minutes.
Yeah. Again, lovely movement. Nice work, Van Dijk. She's done it 2 or 3 times, actually. A couple of times they haven't seen her. The ball hasn't gone, but that time Geitz went all the way, didn't she? And left Van Dijk home alone.
Classic up to go back.
Oh, Henry. Excellent work. And then that's the turnovers we were talking about before. Valuable possession given away.
Barrett Chase just took her eye off the ball then.
Step in centre.
So Chris Campbell comes up with a step.
Yes.
Against Nurse, the Silver Ferns.
Ferns obstructing.
Chance to get within 2 before the final whistle in this quarter. Wow, what a great take from Scanlon to stay on balance then.
Whoa.
Sweeping pass across the circle edge.
Swinging ball to Barrett Chase. He did well to keep the hands of Prendergast away from it.
Gerard out of play. Silver Ferns with the centre pass.
Farmers contact, goal attack.
Barrett Chase opting to stay stuck on that circle edge, but they don't want to give it to her because Prendergast's tight and will get the hand to the ball.
That's the thing. That's why it's really requires movement from her. It's hard work, you know. You've got to keep those little feet moving. You've got to move off the edge of the circle, off the back on. You'll know that is a short one to catch it.
Barrett Chase almost with the splits on the circle edge. The Silver Ferns lucky to get away with that one, but Tutea puts it up anyway. So there's Geitz, gets her hand to the ball, upsetting the Ferns attacking flow.
Contact and obstructing.
Silver Ferns, can they disrupt Australia's attacking line? Yes, they can.
Goal defense.
Scanlon, though, called for the contact.
Pretty unlucky, pretty unlucky.
Yes, right there, thanks.
Beveridge not going to put that up.
Barnes contact.
Puts her feeders on the outside under pressure. She's going to have to take this one, though. That is a big shot.
And it was great defence from Scanlon. She actually topped the arm. She was lucky she wasn't pulled.
Yep, it doesn't matter though. Australia still lead the Silver Ferns by that 1 goal at the end of the third quarter, ahead 33 goals to 32.
We're about to start the final quarter here in Brisbane. Australia still lead the Silver Ferns by 1, 33 to 32. Wendy Telfer has come on in place of Jolene Henry at wing defence for the Silver Ferns, and Kimberly Green has come on at wing attack for Australia.
Well, Julie, it brings a smile to my face to see former teammate of mine, Wendy Telfer, come onto the court, but I'm a little confused as to why she's been injected into this match at wing defence when I thought Jolene Henry was doing a bit of damage.
Well, she was. She had a couple of lovely intercepts in that last quarter. She had taken 4 clean intercepts in the match, the only Silver Fern to do such a thing. But I guess maybe they felt a fresh set of legs out there. Perhaps they saw the change from Australia with fresh legs as well. Look, I'm not sure. It'll be a very good question to ask Ruth Aiken at the end of the match, won't it?
Well, Wendy Telfer doesn't care. She gets her first cap for the Silver Ferns.
And another New Zealand under-21 player from 2005.
So we've still got 5 of them on the court, even though Grant has been benched after the first quarter.
So 6 in the side in total, and then another one from this year, Paula Griffin, who will be in the next World Youth Championship. Great work from Williams, she'll get it. And this could play to the advantage of New Zealand having Dalton Hines on their defence in this final quarter of the match, because the defence are allowed to get away with a wee bit more at this end.
Yeah, good call, Julie.
Nice ball, nice space.
Oh, good rebound though from Van Dyke. Langman, she'd already gone back to the centre. She thought it was a done deal with ball in Van Dyke's hand.
Tutea hasn't missed a shot yet. Sticking with it. Norma Plummer did well to get the little flick back to herself on that missed shot.
And a subtle little pass there from Barrett Chase finds Van Dyke. Geitz all over her.
Yes, too close. Hit the arm on the shooting action.
So an impressive start to this final quarter by the Silver Ferns. They were trailing by 1. Now ahead by 2. Let's see what Australia can do with the ball.
Oh, nice drive from Von Berto. Hits the circle edge beautifully.
And Cratney gets herself a little closer to the goalpost. With success. And the 2 newbies going for it. It was a coin toss as to who that ball was going to go to.
Telfer dipped out.
So the long pass across the circle edge by Australia, and it has to go way back to the transverse line from Von Berto. Scanlon hunting.
Well, cool not going with the defence that time from Dalton Hines. I thought it was a penalty, but no.
Scanlon goes off the mark.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that whole call was about when She didn't have to stand aside. This time she's been pulled.
Brantley let off the hook then, though. She had no one to pass to. It was either going to step or a held ball.
Yeah, Scanlon just had a little basketball stance there. Just had her hand up against the player. Williams holds off nicely. She's in the head of the Brantley. Could have jumped on it, maybe.
Oh, folks, this is a classic encounter between these two. It's going to go down to the wire.
Well, it's been such a close match the whole way, hasn't it, Jenny May? Just the one goal in the first quarter.
Yeah,
all tied up in the second, all tied up in the third.
That was a big rebound from Beveridge. She's been impressive so far in this match on attack. And there she is in the thick of it again. Wars now between these two teams. It's going to come down to the last 4 or 5 minutes. Who's going to absorb the pressure better? Well, she tried to regather it, Barrett Chase. I like the idea of the ball going, but it was too big for her.
Yeah. Just a bit, stretched her a bit far, didn't it? Nice zone being set in the mid, trying to slow the ball down, but it's over the head of Telfer. They break it through easily, Australia.
Oh, Williams and Telfer kiss the floor.
Desperate for it. Absolutely. New Zealand's shooting percentage still much greater than that of Australia's, but it's the number of attempts Australia have had against that of New Zealand. They've had 8 more attempts at goal to that of New Zealand, so getting more ball to their shooters.
Well, Brantley's cool under the pressure so far. And she stretches her side out to a 2-goal lead. Green has to go back to Gerard. Green gets it back again.
Good pressure outside.
Nice pass to Beveridge as well.
Yeah, Beveridge playing out, Brantley dropping back, and then just that little quiet pop forward from Brantley, and she's on fire tonight.
She might have shot 67% in the first test, but
sitting on 83 now, Jenny May. 24 from 29.
Been impressive.
And put up a lot more attempts than that of Beveridge, so as a goal attack, playing a really vital role in the attack end for Australia.
Well, the defensive end are doing their bit too. The Silver Ferns struggling to find their way through this attacking end. So who's going to stand up for the Silver Ferns? Who's going to put their hand up and say, I'm the one that's going to do the work? Whatever it takes. One lady, her name is Maria Tutaia.
Her shooting's been superb. I think her court play a little quieter tonight under close scrutiny from Gerard, but certainly her shooting has been spot on and from distance.
Beveridge, nice little tip. Not many players get a rebound like that off Casey Williams. Which way is it going to go, Julie?
Well, umpire Chris Campbell at this end was onto it.
Great work from Williams.
Oh, he's pulled up. He's called up.
Oh, tragic.
Can you believe it? He's let so many defensive things away, and then some beautiful skill, and it's called.
That was hers for all money. She went for that one.
She went up, clean, beautiful work.
Down the other end, it's chaos. Yeah, Geitz with a bit of a shove on Van Dijk. And Gerard called for the contact as well. Tutaia needs to sink this one. Makes no mistake. Gerard, just dangerous on attack, isn't she? Really relieves the pressure on her mid-quarters.
I just feel the game's just losing a bit of composure. Both sides, really. It's being played at a frenetic pace. And I just think when you have ball in hand, just change the pace a little, you know. Play with a little bit of composure.
Well, Langman's called for the contact here.
Speed kills at times. Has to come back.
Good pressure from the Silver Ferns.
A little too much pressure that time from Telfer, a wee bit close.
Oh, nice work from Pratley. Keeping cool, getting herself closer to the goal.
It's just the workload from Pratley on attack for Australia. She's, you know, to put up 11 more goals than her goal shoot, it's quite a feat.
So Barrett Chase with the ball in hand. She's relieved as Tutai takes the long shots. That is 20 from 20.
New Zealand need a break here off the centre pass. They can pull it back. If it's only one break.
Monberto. Oh, big shot coming from Green, and she's nailed for it. Thank you very much, Dalton Hines. We'll take that. Oh, Prendergast down the other end.
Well, that was the possession that was required from New Zealand to be finished off, not given away.
The schoolgirl sprinter.
It's
come up with the goods.
So hard to get a turnover, and when you get it, you've got to look after it.
Well, the Silver Ferns have another chance here with Pratley having to take the throw in. A chance to take the ball back. Pratley,
again,
clever.
Instrumental, isn't she? Just making the plays, offering to the ball all the time.
And a great tap there from Williams. And Telfer mops it up for her.
Now control's required.
And this is Telfer coming from a team like the Southern Steel. They know all about composure. Who does, Jenny May? Wow, eat my words.
Oh, dear me.
Well, we
Two
know
opportunities to turn, you know, to pull it back.
The team that stays calm under pressure. And Beveridge does that beautifully with a long, high shot. So will the Silver Ferns rue those two opportunities to pull this game back from Australia?
Yes, well, a lot of inexperience on the court for New Zealand. But you could say quite a lot on for Australia as well.
Nice little play there between the two shooters.
And this is where you need your senior players to really just sort of stand up and take a bit of control and call for some composure. Yes, good work holding up the centre pass off.
So just under 4 minutes in this match. The Silver Ferns trailing by 2. Can they force a turnover? What can they do? This is good defense. Green has to go back, but Beveridge is out on her own. Short pass. So Australia winding the clock down.
Still 3 minutes, still only a break. Make that 2.
Tutai with the ball in hand.
New Zealand on attack, just still guilty a little bit of just running rather than running, creating, you know, stopping, changing directions, doing movement off the ball before the ball's on its way to you.
So Geitz is going to get called here for the contact, pushing on Van Dijk's back. Tutai hasn't missed a shot all game.
I was just about to put a gun to your head then, Jenny May.
21-year-olds on 21 from 21 in this match.
Wouldn't it be lovely in these last two series we've seen Irene Van Dijk have 100%. It would be lovely to see Tutai do it, but you'd like to see it on the back of a win.
Absolutely.
As well. Yes, there's a turnover.
There it is. Now they need to take care of it.
Yeah.
Get it down the other end.
And it's Captain Langman that just changed the pace there. She held the ball up.
Oh, it's Prendergast prowling on the hunt again. Barrett Chase lucky to get away with that one. Tutai comes forward for her. Van Dijk.
Tutai just a bit drifty on her attack moves, though. Just needs to be a wee bit more direct with them. That time she was, and Gerard was very naughty.
Oh, she was riding her back then. Tutai with the long shot. And the one shot. One that she misses could come at the expense of the game. So Gerard rallies her troops. Well, the shooters down this end for Australia have stayed composed. So far, so with a minute to play, can the Silver Ferns get it down the other end?
Just couldn't quite pull it in before the white line. Telfer did her best.
She had a player on her back.
So New Zealand not without the opportunities in the dying moments of this match. Pretty hard to do from here.
And a nice feed from Green to Pratley.
They certainly had their chances, didn't they, the Silver Ferns?
No doubt.
Took valuable turnovers, but just couldn't get it through to their shooters or missed the shot.
So, can they bring it back to 2? Big high pass from Langman, finds Van Dijk.
In she goes, slots it. Not even a break's going to do it from here for the New Zealanders.
So the Silver Ferns have blown it here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Australia had the final say in the last Trans-Tasman International for 2008. They've taken out this match 43 goals to 41. So the Diamonds even the slate, putting 2 of the 4 encounters between these two sides. And more importantly, they take the bragging rights into 2009.
Their first win on Brisbane soil against the Silver Ferns, the Australian Diamonds.
Wow, there was plenty of verbal barbs between these two sides before the match. That lady there, Monia Gerard, she threw the first one, saying the Silver Ferns were cocky. I'm pretty sure they'll return the compliment at the end of this match.
I'd say Ruth Aiken, though, pleased to get all their players on court, but was it the right decision to play Telfer in that final quarter? Take off an experienced player?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the question, I guess, and the only thing I can say in favour of Ruth Aiken is she had the guts to put a newbie on in that position in a pressure cooker situation. She believed that Telfer was the right player at the time, so you can only give her credit for that.
To you and the girls, that was an amazing win.
Oh, it's so overwhelming that, you know, we've been fighting between ourselves, trying to improve every time, and to finally get over the Silver Ferns in the last test for the year, I'm so stoked.
And Non, there has been a lot of pressure on you and the girls throughout the week. There's been a bit of talk in the media about shooting percentages and roughness in the circle. How did that go with the group this week?
Well, we shut it out pretty much. The only pressure we did put on ourselves was individual stuff. So overall, as a team, there was no pressure. We didn't think anything of it. But basically, we just wanted to go out there and prove to the Australian crowd that we've got it, and the young ones as well.
Yeah, and you're right. There's such a young group here. A lot of retirements, a couple of injuries, but everyone has just stood up so well, and everyone must be really proud.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, you've got Beveridge, Geitzy for the first time against the Silver Ferns in a home crowd. I thought she did really well against Irene, and, you know, it's a big ask for her against Irene, so I think she did a great job. And then Kimmy Green coming in the last quarter, I think she did a good job as well.
And great crowd here today.
Love Queensland, love it.
Thanks, Mom.
Now there she is, the golden girl of the moment. Laura Geitz, the 20-year-old, who came up with 4 intercepts during the match. Hometown girl, couldn't ask for a better debut.
the New Zealand captains this afternoon.
Laura, bad luck on tonight's game. It was a tough one out there.
Yeah, obviously we didn't quite want to finish our international calendar on a note like that, but credit to Aussie, they really brought it to us, and we fought the whole way, so ups to our girls too.
We have been talking a little bit about the Aussies' youth, but you blooded a few new players as well throughout this series.
Yeah, we managed to debut Wendy Taufer on tonight, which is great, and similar to Aussies, we do have a lot of youth coming through, which is really exciting for the future.
And there's been a bit of talk during the week about the physical play of both teams, really. You were up close with your shooting end. How did it look in there?
It's always a tight battle in there. I mean, it's only half a circle, so there's some big bodies in there. But, you know, that's just part and parcel of netball these days, and we love it.
Well, thanks very much for tonight, and all the best for next year.
Pleasure, thanks.
And I love hearing that too from the young captain, Laura Langman, saying it's always a tight battle, it's always a physical encounter, but bring it on. We don't mind it. We prepare with that, and
you must absolutely be thrilled with that result.
Yeah, I am, but it was anyone's game, and what opponents the Ferns are. They really took it up to us again, and we really had to dig deep today, and I was really proud of the girls. They did a very good job.
Talk a little bit about the youth within the team, but the leaders that have come out of this series have been fantastic too. The girls with not a lot of experience themselves, but doing a great job.
Yeah, especially when you look at someone like Gerard. You know, she would never have put herself in that spot, and she's really led by example off the court. She's been sensational.
And Norma, there was a bit of talk about the Aussies' shooting percentage. You must be thrilled with that. The girls returning and shooting, not all going in, but on the whole, pretty good result.
Yeah, I mean, that was the secret to the last one. All we have to do is get it up and put it in. Sometimes I think we just take a little bit too long to turn and focus on it and let them get in position. We've got to be quicker on the uptake and deliver.
Well, Norma, I hate sitting on the sideline, but I'm absolutely thrilled with the result for you and your girls, so congratulations.
Yeah, it just shows that if you can do it, if you really apply yourself, and yeah, delighted. And still number one. Shaz, we're still number one.
Good work, Norma.
Oh, Norma Plummer, she just couldn't help herself at the end there, eh? We're still number one, but she is a very delighted coach. And now we go to the Silver Ferns coach, Ruth Aitken, who's standing by.
Well, Ruth Aitken, 2 goals in it. It's what we expect from these clashes, but what was ultimately the difference for you tonight?
I think that when we got those turnovers, those hard-fought turnovers in that last quarter, we just didn't nail them put them into goals. So, you know, it was an amazing game, but you have to score your turnovers.
Laura Geitz, the new goalkeeper on Irene van Dijk tonight. How much of a good job did she think she did?
Yeah, I thought she did really well. You know, she certainly made things difficult for Irene and got Irene running out, which wasn't part of the game plan. So, you know, that was to her credit. But we had the skills to be able to change things up, and I didn't think we adjusted as well as we needed to.
You brought Wendy Taufer on there ahead of the last quarter. What was behind that? Did you feel like Jolene Henry wasn't playing well?
I just felt that there wasn't the usual intensity that she had on defence, and some of her decision-making on attack wasn't quite where it needed to be. You know, we wanted to be able to go to the bench. It was a great opportunity for Wendy. I thought she did really well, and, you know, she'll grow from this.
Where I was sitting on the sideline, it looked extremely physical. What did you make of the umpiring?
Yeah, I thought that it was very physical. I thought the umpiring was interesting. But, you know, in the end, we actually had the ability to do it ourselves. So that's what I'll be focusing on.
The attacking end, not just Irene van Dijk, but it didn't really gel in a number of areas. Were you unhappy with the way that worked?
I thought our possession from centre pass to circle was actually really good. What we didn't have was those flows around the circle edge and using the ball speed. So our inside-outside links weren't quite as good as they need to be. But, you know, you think of Liana on her, you know, she's pretty early on in terms of her experience, and I think she'll grow as well.
Okay, commiserations, 2 apiece now in the series. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Ruth Aitken, gracious in defeat. PC about the umpiring, you have to say, but it was a gutsy call from her to bring on Wendy Taufer in the last quarter of the match. But it was another explosive encounter. This time, though, Australia take the bragging rights, winning the match 43 goals to 41 here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre.
Jumping, and we're gonna go crazy, baby. Now you heard say oh, oh.
Thanks for watching tonight's match. See you at the next one.